Kristi Noem is the Michael Vick now of politics, and I do think this is where, after all this divisiveness, we can come together. It does seem like there's one thing that Democrat, Republicans, and independents can agree on, and that is you can't kill a dog, right? We can agree on something, Eric. You can't kill a dog.
It seems like it. It's so interesting. After this excerpt came out from her book, her upcoming book, where she talked about killing her 14-month-old puppy named Cricket about 2 decades ago, I think. First of all, that was an incredible miscalculation to think that you could put that in a book and it would just, I mean, I don't know what the hell she was thinking, because the reason Kristi Noem is important, other than being the governor of South Dakota, is I think she would have been my pick as the person that I thought, if you said gun to my head, who do I think Trump would pick as VP? Most of the year, that has been my pick. I he really liked Kristi Noem, and you could tell they campaigned together. Also, she didn't run against him in the primary, and she specifically said, "I'm not doing it because I don't think I can beat him." And he brought that up. Like that's something Trump loves, right? Someone who's willing to kiss the ring. And so she's a female. She's attractive to a lot of people. She had kind of was developing a national profile. Like, I think she could have been the pick. And if you look at the betting odds, we talk about betting odds. She was running a strong second to Tim Scott in the betting odds to be the vice president before Trump's vice presidential pick before this news broke. Now she is. I'm looking at the latest ranking. She is now at 3.1%, tied with Ron DeSantis for the 5th best odds right now to be the nominee. So she went from like 15, 16%, second best odds, now to 3%, tied for the 5th. Basically no chance because of this issue. And it is interesting. Now, it's funny because I started just checking her like social media posts. When she would post anything on Instagram, like even about the protests, and kind of calling them out, every comment would be, "How's Cricket? What? I hope Cricket can forgive you. Why did you kill your dog?" I mean, people just ripping her relentlessly, every comment. And she's trying to walk it back. She tried to, or explain it, I should say. She did an interview last night where she said, "Well, the dog was dangerous. It had killed a bunch of chickens. I was afraid for my kids." I don't know, man. I don't think people are buying that. Like, you can always, I don't know. I didn't live on a farm or a ranch, growing up. So maybe this is common when you had a dog. I don't know. Like, is this what people do? Like, if a dog is misbehaving and you can't trade it, do you just shoot them? I don't know. Maybe that's what people do. But to me, I don't know. If I had a dog who I thought maybe was dangerous, I'd probably try to find it a new home, take it to the shelter. Like, my first thought wouldn't be, "Where's a gravel pit? Let me get my gun."
Yeah, and I'm trying to think because you mentioned her chance to be the VP, and it was right there behind Tim Scott, and now maybe Tim Scott is going to be the guy. But I also thought she could be a president down the road. Now I know there was some talk of an affair with Corey Lewandowski last year or so. People can Google that. And look, it's not like having an affair is going to disqualify you from being the president.
Yeah.
I do wonder if she, and when I say this, when I say can she come back from this, I don't mean to be the VP. I think this thing is so fresh, and I think the election is 6 7 months away. I think she's dead on arrival, like cricket, pun intended, to be the VP. But I do wonder, do you think, can she ever have a national political career after this? And I think she can. I say that because I made the joke about Michael Vick. Michael Vick was an absolute pariah, and then he went back to the NFL, and I feel like I see him on TV now. He's breaking down football games, and this is a guy who basically led a dogfighting ring where I think they were. I don't know if he did it. I can't remember the story, but they were electrocuting. I feel like drowning dogs, and again, I don't remember exactly who did it, so I apologize. But if Michael Vick can come back and talk about football on a network, I wonder. Do you think Kristi Noem, is her political future just done?
Ooh, I don't know. It's one thing to watch someone on TV. It's another one to vote for them for like a
Yeah.
high position, especially president. But I mean, it's not. Again, I think Noam had a very good chance to be the pick. I thought she would have been the pick. You never know with Trump, right? But so he's only going to serve one more term, hopefully, if he wins. The Constitution, let's say, prevents him from serving any more terms other than one more. So you can very easily imagine a world where she's picked as vice president, Trump wins, and then she's the front runner for the Republican nomination then in 2028. And she wins the nomination. So, yes, she was on the potential path to becoming president. And it is weird to think that an incident that happened 20 years ago with a dog has potentially derailed someone who otherwise may have someday been the president. But I think that's exactly what happened. Eh, I just haven't, if she comes out and does a full mea culpa, I'm really sorry. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done this. I thought it was doing the right thing at the time. And time passes. We've seen people come back from a lot of things in politics, including Trump himself, right? So I wouldn't completely roll it out. But I just think the way Americans are kind of obsessed with dogs, dare I say, across the political spectrum. If there's one thing that unites us, I mean, there are people who treat their dogs as well or better than their kids. I mean, we love dogs, Republican, Democrat, Independent. I just find it hard to believe. I think this is the unforgivable sin of politics now, if there is one, is harming an animal. I just can't imagine her coming back and having a national profile again.
Yeah, see, I don't think, and this is kind of out of the Trump playbook. I'm not saying she's 100% Trumpian, but I don't think she can go the apology route. I think she has to really hammer down the this dog was violent, it was eating chickens, it was a danger to my kids route. I think that, and even if that's a lie, by the way, I don't know. I wasn't there with old McDonald on the farm, but I would go that route. And it also, because this woman did seem to be very politically savvy. Like here's what I'll say. I I pay attention to politics, through social media, and there's a lot of clowns. I think we'd both agree. There are a lot of clowns on both sides. And sometimes I feel like, if I see a senator or a congressperson and I don't know their name, I automatically think better of them, because I'm thinking this person probably
Right.
is a serious person who's not doing all the stupid stuff on social media, who's not trying to make everything about them and political theater. And so for me, I always thought that Kristi Noem seemed like a very savvy politician because I can't say anything bad about her until this. I knew her name. I know she's attractive, obviously. I know she's a governor. I know her name is always thrown out there, but I feel like she was a pretty likable, reasonable person. Now maybe I just missed. I don't know all of her policy platforms, but I feel like if she was super, super um, on either side, super severe or radical, I would have known about it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I feel like it also just it really shows some tone deafness. Why would you even think of putting this in the book? Right? This is one you
Yeah.
just yeah, I'm just gonna leave this one out.
Right. Don't mention the dog killing seems like politics 101. And the fact that she even wrote in the book, apparently, this might not be smart politically for me to say this. Yeah, I have no idea. And that you are being considered and you are one of the favorites to be the vice president of the United States. It's crazy.